Go ahead and call the meeting to order. Thank you all for being here. If you'd please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, thank you all for being here. I know we did some pictures out front. I want to first apologize. I'm going to look fat and bald in those pictures. It's just the way it is. So we're going to move right into our proclamation. This is always a great meeting for us and a great week to take a minute and thank people that serve us year round. So I've got a little script here I'm going to read. Commissioner Boyce is actually going to read the proclamation. Tamara's got some notes. And she's gonna invite up some of you members to do the proclamation presentation. Commissioner Kress is gonna hand out the certificates. Kelly's gonna do the photos, and I'll clue you in a little bit. If you just listen to where she tells you to stand, it goes quicker. We were fussy to begin with, but we learned that along the way. And then, of course, we'll have several folks speak if they'd like to. So Douglas County Search and Rescue was officially established in 1963 by then Deputy Norm Neal and Sheriff John Pardon. Neal, a veteran of the 1959 Roseburg Blast, played a pivotal role in the founding of the program that later served as its first search and rescue state standards chairman. His leadership and dedication to search and rescue continued throughout his career and into his retirement in 1989. Where he remained actively involved as a volunteer until 2015. Today, our local robust search and rescue program operates under the Douglas County Sheriff's Office. It is comprised of over 100 volunteers with several well-trained and specialized units, including ground search, mounted, canine, dive, and UAV teams. Search and rescue is tasked with actions of searching for, rescuing, and recovering by means of ground or marine activity any person who is lost, injured, or killed while outdoors. The Douglas County Search and Rescue Team is proud to serve Douglas County, but also serves our neighbors and other areas of the state and country when called upon. Thank you guys for what you do. Commissioner Boyce, could you please read the proclamation for us?
Sure. This is for National Search and Rescue Week, which is May 16th through 22nd. Whereas we recognize that National Search and Rescue Week was first observed in May of 2010 when the United States Senate passed a resolution designating May 16th through 22nd each year to honor our nation's search and rescue personnel and volunteers. And whereas we recognize that the majority of search and rescue programs are made up of dedicated volunteers with expertise in search, rescue, and disaster response. These individuals come from a wide variety of skilled backgrounds, including pilots, mountaineers, divers, urban rescue technicians, dog handlers, backcountry horsemen, snowmobilers, and ATV riders. And whereas locally our search and rescue volunteers donate their time, skills, and expertise to help those in need through the Douglas County Search and Rescue Program, which operates under the direction of the Douglas County Sheriff's Office with the support of the Douglas County Board of Commissioners. And whereas we recognize that Douglas County Search and Rescue Program is made up of the following units: communications team, mounted team, ground team, 4x4 team, snowcat team, amateur radio emergency services team, dive team, canine team, unmanned aerial vehicle team, logistics team, mountain rescue team, and tracking team. And whereas we know that our Douglas County Search and Rescue volunteers completed 97 missions in 2024, utilizing 83 volunteers who donated 9,560 hours of their time. They also participated in 40 outreach education events and educated 147 training and conducted 147 training exercises. The Douglas County SAR dive team made up of 7 members, logged 25 missions and 32 training hours. And whereas to show our support to all search and rescue volunteers and personnel, we will be turning the night orange as we light the exterior of the Douglas County Courthouse with orange lights from May 19th through 25th. And whereas Douglas County Search and Rescue volunteers maintain the highest proficiency in search and rescue techniques and operations, remaining ready to assist those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, while also providing a valuable public service in promoting wilderness safety, education, and assisting law enforcement with crime scene investigations. And whereas we know that residents in Douglas County who find themselves in immediate danger or distress, or who become lost, especially in remote areas, depend on our search and rescue services. And now therefore, we, the Douglas County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim May 16th through 22nd, 2025 as National Search and Rescue Week in Douglas County, and call upon all citizens of Douglas County to join us in acknowledging our Douglas County Search and Rescue volunteers for their important life-saving work.
Thank you, Commissioner Boyce. Tamara.
Alright. So Kelly's gonna get all of you up here, so I would just first like to acknowledge those that are in attendance today. We have Sheriff John Hanlon, Under Sheriff Brett Odell, and Larissa May, who is the SAR deputy. And then we have Mary Malone, Wendy Hadler, Tim Ballard, Mary Bailey, Rick Fugate, John Rideout, Paul Vogel, Richard Shorey, Ray Proctor, Valerie Benito, Mitchell Kilkenny, Brett Treisner, there we go, and then we need all of you up here. You doing this one first? Yeah. This one first.
You wanna take back?
Where do you wanna do? Let's do one with Larissa and these two, so Colin in the middle, and then we'll do all the search and rescue. I will get out of your way. So let's see, we already talked a little bit about in 2024, the Douglas County SAR log, 93 missions with 83 volunteers. Of the 97 missions, Douglas County SAR responded in 2024. 45 were searches for missing or overdue individuals, 14 were for rescues, 24 were for public assist for stranded motorists, 4 were for patient packouts due to medical events, 4 were recoveries, and 6 were evidence searches to assist the investigations division on criminal cases. SAR volunteers are also utilized to make fire evacuation notices on 6 different fires that affected local residents. So now we want all the SAR volunteers, for everybody. Kelly will put you where
Do you want, most of you could go in the back, and then the handlers, canine
I wanna
handlers,
move
kneel in front.
I'll move all these folks in the back too, and have just, you guys come back here too.
Then we can have all the dogs in front.
Everybody likes the dogs best anyway, so
always.
it's gonna have to come through that. I'll get back in the middle where I belong.
While you do that, I'll continue. So from February through April, SAR
Sit here in the middle.
extensively searched 20 miles of the river for a local teacher who
So
was
you guys just get on either side here, we'll,
when her vehicle left the roadway and entered the North Fall River. When her vehicle was recovered, she was on its side. 15 operational periods were conducted until she was located. Volunteers contributed over
Everybody would get one of
700
these.
hours to locate her.
just kind of,
At approximately 1:30 on Easter, 57-year-old woman who fell and injured her ankle was cross-country skiing in the Mount Gilson Wilderness area. Searchers used snowshoes to hike 4 miles to the subject, arriving after dark. Searchers stabilized the injury, placed her in a litter, and transported her back to the trailhead. They arrived at the trailhead shortly before 1:30 a.m. to a waiting ambulance with a patient receiving medical treatment.
these folks in front.
Alright. Ready? Got it. Okay, I'm good.
Here you go. Here you go.
Thank you.
Can you give the other dog handler this one, please? She didn't get one.
Say hi.
We are gonna have probably reviewed.
So if you'll, grab your seat, I'm gonna have the sheriff come up, first and say a few words.
Barking and making a mess.
Keep the dog there, leave it.
Her name is Nala.
It's a shame. It's a shame.
What language is she?
Sheriff, I always know you'd like to take a chance and thank your search and rescue folks.
Yeah, so first of all, thank you, commissioners, for this proclamation and recognizing search and rescue. As you know, they are an essential component to the sheriff's office, and we simply couldn't we simply couldn't do our jobs without the assistance from search and rescue. And you mentioned something about the foundation of search and rescue here in Douglas County, and I wanted to share a little bit more about that. Sheriff Neal, as you know, I worked fairly closely with him when I first started, and one of his passions, of course, was campaigning, but his real true passion was search and rescue, as you've already mentioned. And I know there's a 2 or 3 Jeep people on the board, and I'm sure you probably all remember that Norm, when he retired, went out and bought one of the very first high-end Jeeps that you could buy so that he could continue his work and working with search and rescue. And that's just kind of demonstrates the passion he had for this group. So again, I can't thank search and rescue enough. You've done some awesome work over the years, and I know you'll continue to do so.
Sheriff Neal lived kind of over by my service station, and he would come and show me the new stuff he would put on that Jeep all the time, and he had it outfitted very well.
Yeah, he did, yeah. All right, thank you.
Brad, would you like to say a few words? I know you've been involved in this through most of your career.
Yeah, thank you, commissioners. Again, I just want to echo what the sheriff said. These folks volunteer their time. They often have jobs in the community. Some of them are retired and they have other commitments, but they oftentimes will drop whatever they're doing in service to help others and in this community. And I know, Commissioner Boyce, you're a volunteer as well. We want to thank you for your service. You're just as much a part of this group as anyone else. And so, but again, I worked with SAR for a number of years. It was one of my passions. I really enjoyed this group, and I get to continue to support them just in a different way. But they are a phenomenal group of people with really a heart to serve. And so this week is for them, and I couldn't be more proud of this group. So thank you. Thank you for this recognition.
Deputy May, would you like to say a few words? I know you're currently the ringleader.
Well, thank you. I just would like to say that we are very fortunate here in Douglas County to have all of these volunteers who dedicate their time. It doesn't matter if it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 o'clock in the morning. If I put a call out for someone who's in need of assistance or a rescue, I always have someone who's willing to show up, and I'm just very grateful for the members of our community who dedicate their time to not only responding to missions, but going forward with all of the training that's required for them to maintain their certification and assist not only here in Douglas County, but across Oregon and even sometimes into Northern California, because we're part of California-Oregon Regional Search and Rescue. So thank you for recognizing them for all of their hard work and dedication.
Thank you. So I know a lot of you at times see the commissioners when you're out doing your work, and sometimes that can be a little frustrating, but I wanted to talk about the benefit of some of that. So back in 2020, we had the big fire up the river, the Arch Creek fire, and several of us were up there trying to help with evacuations. I was with the sheriff. Out of that came the fact that I recognized pretty quickly you all should have the right equipment to wear and clothing if you're going to be in that situation. So because I was there and saw that and could understand the need for it, we were able to order and outfit you with the proper gear and safety gear to be in that situation. The work that you did around evacuating for what was a record fire, of course, when it begins, you never know what the end's going to be, but you all helped evacuate 30 miles of residents in just a few hours. And the work that you did made an outcome that not one single person was killed and nobody even got hurt. And that is absolutely remarkable. I've had the chance to go on some training missions and do some better understanding of needs through that, including the fact that your current search and rescue organization building has no restroom in it. We had a walkthrough with the contractors, we'll be accepting a bid for that project. It will have a restroom. Again, that is one of those things where it may be a little difficult having us hanging around, but when we see those needs, it lets us understand what you need better, and we can start looking for funding to take care of that. The most difficult search and rescue that I spent a little bit of time, mission that I spent a little time around watching you guys do the work was the young lady in the river. That happened to go on the last one. I think there was 15 missions for that. And that work was done in a way that was incredibly difficult, but so supportive of the family and created an outcome and got some answers for that family that were really important. So the work you do matters, even when the outcome isn't what we want. It's important to the public. We could not do this work without without you as volunteers, and the county is much better off for the work that you all do. So thank you very much. Commissioner?
I'll say a few things, talk about, first thing is the group of search and rescue for Douglas County this is a small representation today. Thank you guys for being here, but there's many more people who volunteer with this organization who couldn't be here today. And we wanna thank them as well. And then I'm gonna talk a little bit about what search and rescue is and what it isn't. Search and rescue in Douglas County, is not what a lot of people might think. It isn't the young kids that have, cobbled together four-wheel drives that go out mudding on the Callahans every weekend that decide they wanna go out and volunteer for their community and have, our self-proclaimed experts. That is not what search and rescue is. Search and rescue here is more a group of people who have a passion to serve and who have taken a set of skills that they have or numerous sets of skills that they have and brought those to the table and coupled them with some very extensive training. And the things that you guys know how to do, we have to all know how to do. If folks realized what the Compass course looks like that you have to pass, John and I finished that one together out there, or the CPR training or all the other things, you're gonna soon realize that it isn't just a bunch of, folks that show up that aren't prepared. So you guys put in a ton of time in training to make sure that you're prepared for when the time does come, you come out. And the main focus is for the search and rescue people to not become the liability. When you get out there on the job and you're not properly trained and you're trying to help solve a situation that's difficult, and then all of a sudden you become part of the problem. That's what we work diligently to avoid, and we don't have that in this group, so thank you guys for that. I will be back and spend some more time with you guys. I have a new Jeep. I went without a Jeep for a while, so I wasn't able to participate in 4x4. And also I run the fixed wing operation, and the sun's coming out, so we'll get back to some radio training in the airplane and have that available for if you guys needed to look forward to being able to come back and spend more time with you. Thank you.
Commissioner Boyce, thank you for your work. So thank you all. We'll take a little bit of a break. Sorry, does anybody else wanna say anything? I don't wanna shut anybody off. You guys wanna get up and give a big speech, anybody? No? Folks wanna talk? All right, so we'll take a little break, and then we'll start the regular meeting in just a few minutes. Thank you all. You're welcome to stay, but you're also welcome to go train or find somebody.
Thank you.
We'll go ahead and get moving with our agenda. So next agenda item is the consent agenda. We only have one item, it's just an agreement, and I will move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
A motion second, questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll call the question. Commissioner Boyce?
Aye.
Commissioner Kress?
Aye.
Chair votes aye and the motion passes. Agenda item number 3 is citizens' questions and comments. Anybody online? Anybody here in the room like to come forward? Saying none, we'll move to agenda item number 4, and I'll invite up, this is a DENT item, I'll invite up our DENT Commander, Rick MacArthur. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Rick MacArthur with DENT, Douglas Interagency Narcotics Team. This is just a very basic modification to the original DENT agreement, which adds BLM, meaning Bureau of Land Management, as a participating agency in DENT. They've had a person assigned to the team for a couple of years now. This is something we probably should have done sooner. So all it does is just add them as a participating agency.
Move to approve the agreement.
Second.
A motion second, questions or comments? I just want to thank you for the great work you and your team do all the time. Sometimes you do a lot of work that is not purposely isn't out in the public eye, but we see a lot of what you do and we appreciate it.
It's kind of amazing for a group that doesn't want to make headlines. You sure make a bunch.
We do. There's other ones that could be there that we don't make, but yeah.
So a motion second, any further questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll call the question. Commissioner Boyce?
Aye.
Commissioner Kress?
Aye.
Chair votes aye and the motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 5 is a juvenile department item, and I'll invite up our juvenile director, Eric Fromdale. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Eric Fromdahl, Juvenile Department. This is a new IGA with the Department of Human Services Child Welfare for placement of foster youth in our residential programs. It includes a 16-bed guarantee and a not-to-exceed amount of $23.3 million. This contract terms March 31st, 2030.
To approve the IGA.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second. Questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll call the question. Commissioner Boyce?
Aye.
Commissioner Kress?
Aye.
Chair votes aye and the motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 6 is a management and finance item, and I'll invite up our finance director, Dan Wilson. Good morning.
Morning, Commissioners. Dan Wilson, Management and Finance. Item number 6 is authorization of the board to approve payment of the annual dues for the Association of ONC Counties.
To approve authorization to pay the invoice.
I'll second.
A motion second. I would note for the record that this amount didn't change from last year.
Correct.
So it's the same as last year. Any other comments, questions? Seeing none, I'll call the question. Commissioner Boyce?
Aye.
Commissioner Kress?
Aye.
Chair votes aye and the motion passes. Agenda item number 7 is Public Works. I'll invite up Josh. Morning.
Morning, Commissioners. Josh Eacock, Public Works. Item number 7 is a contract with Harper Half Peterson Regelis to provide design services for the Douglas County Green Unincorporated Area Traffic Analysis and Raise Grant Preparation Project. Total payments not to exceed $309,594.20.
Move to approve the contract.
I'll second.
So a motion is second. I'm guessing this is the beginning of what will be, certainly it's a grant. So you want to give just a little bit on what the plan is?
Yeah, so we secured a grant through the RTA program to get a design done for some conceptual connections to the kind of the Landers Lane area in Green with the ODOT new signal going in on 42 and Rolling Hills. We want to make sure we have proper connections throughout. So the design will be done and then we'll turn around and apply for hopefully future funding for implementation.
Great, thank you. A motion is second. Any further questions or comments? Saying none, I'll call the question. Commissioner Boyce?
Aye.
Commissioner Kress?
Aye.
Chair votes aye and the motion passes. Agenda item number 8 is also a Public Works item.
Josh Eacock, Public Works. This is a contract with Douglas County and JRT Construction LLC for the McCullough Creek Bridge project, replacement project, 11067. Bids received for the project were opened on April 16th, 2025, and JRT was the lowest responsive bidder. Total contract amount would be $1,618,248.
Move to approve the contract.
Second.
A motion is second. Any thought about when that project might start?
Yeah, as soon as we get the contract signed, we'll have a pre-con this well, probably not this month, probably in June. But we hope to have construction wrapped up by October, so.
Oh, this year?
Yeah, it'll be this summer.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Great. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll call the question. Commissioner Boyce?
Aye.
Commissioner Kress?
Aye.
Chair votes aye and the motion passes. Agenda item number 9 is a Public Works item.
Josh Eacock, Public Works. This one is an intergovernmental agreement with ODOT for the Fund Exchange Program, also known as FEX. This IGA specifies the rate for exchanging state funds for Federal Service Transportation Block grant funds at an exchange rate of 94 cents on the dollar for SDBG funds before December 31st, 2021, and a 90 cents on the dollar exchange rates for funds received after January 1st, 2022. This is basically, the term of this IGA is April 1st, 2025 to September 30th, 2028.
To approve the intergovernmental agreement.
I'll second.
I have a motion, a second. See the rates going up from 6% to 10%. Do we have an estimate of what the value is? I know it's still greater than 10%, but do we know what we have kind of a ballpark figure where that number could get to before it doesn't make sense?
Not yet. I know.
It kinda changes, right?
It's
I
been
mean-
changing, but after these older funds, now they just give us a direct payment through FEX.
Okay,
So they just automatically.
They just do it.
They just give it. We don't have a chance to even exchange it anymore. So
Alright.
these are the older funds. Yeah.
perfect. Great. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll call the question. Commissioner Boyce?
Aye.
Commissioner Kress? Chair votes aye and the motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Josh.
Agenda item number 10 is a senior service item. I'll invite up Jeannie Wright, our Senior Service Director. Good morning.
Good morning. Today before you, you have the modification of a contract between Douglas County and our food contractor S&B Foods, increasing our total number of meals from 61,000 to 75,000 and adding an additional $1,000 for cost for incidentals such as coffee, tea, creamer, and sugar to the meals. Asking for approval.
Move to approve the contract
And I'll
modification.
second that.
We have a motion and a very quick second. Any questions or comments?
You know, this shows some of our level of commitment to continue feeding the seniors and the need that's out there. Thank you for the work that's done as cost effectively as you can, so I appreciate the work you've done on that.
75,000 meals, a lot of meals.
It's an addition of 14,000 meals to the contract.
Yes.
So, I have a motion and a second. Any further questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll call the question. Commissioner Boyce?
Aye.
Commissioner Kress?
Aye.
Chair votes aye and the motion passes.
I would make one
Okay,
quick
go ahead.
comment. For anyone who happens to be watching, Seniors is always looking for volunteers to help deliver these meals. So paying for the meals, getting the meals made, that's only part of the work. If you have time and want a very rewarding opportunity to spend your spare time, come see us at the seniors office and sign up to volunteer to deliver these meals.
Thank you.
Very well said. Thank you very much. I believe we had the vote, so thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 11 is a Sheriff's Department item, and I'll invite up Douglas County Sheriff John Hanlon.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Hanlon, Sheriff. This first item is a grant agreement between Douglas County and the Oregon Parks and Recreation in an amount up to $12,000 to be used to purchase an ATV trailer. It requires a 20% match and has been budgeted for fiscal year '26. And this trailer would be used over in Winchester Bay at times when we need to trailer our ATV, which happens fairly regularly, and we have to trailer it out of the Winchester Bay area and take it up north to the Sparrow Park Road area where we often have people that are having problems there. So that would be the primary reason for the use of this trailer.
Move to approve the grant agreement. Second.
A motion, a second. I'm assuming the one that they're using now, it's gotten a little bit small, the vehicles have gotten bigger, and it'll probably get used for something different anyway.
That's absolutely correct.
Perfect. All right. Any more questions or comments? We have a motion, a second. Question, Commissioner Boyce?
Aye.
Commissioner Kress?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, the motion passes. Agenda item number 11 is a sheriff's item. I'm sorry, number 1 and number 12. Agenda item number 12 is a sheriff's item, a grant agreement.
Yeah, item number 12 is a grant agreement. It's a 2-year grant agreement between Douglas County and the Oregon Parks and Recreation to help provide funding for 2 full-time deputies to patrol and respond to incidents occurring in the Winchester Bay Sparrow Park area of the dunes. It also helps pay for the cost of a supervisor for those 2 deputies. The total amount of this grant is $956,537, and it requires a 20% match, so equal to $191,324. And again, this is a 2-year grant from the state parks.
To approve the grant agreement.
I'll second.
A motion and a second. Questions or comments?
Question, I assume when it says requires a 20% match, that's just the amount that isn't covered by the grant for the 2.5.
Right, the grant through the state parks requires a 20% match from the county.
Which is done in regular payroll for the deputies or whatever.
Yes.
Cost of the deputy. Yeah, I got you.
We have a motion and a second. Any further questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll call the question. Commissioner Boyce?
Aye.
Commissioner Kress?
Aye.
Chair votes aye and the motion passes. Agenda item number 13, Sheriff's Office.
And so this is a communications services agreement between Douglas County and Camas Valley Rural Fire Protection District, the Canyonville South Umpqua Fire District, Douglas Forest Protective Association, Tri-City Rural Fire Protection District, and Scottsburg Fire for dispatch and radio services for fiscal year 2025, which had an expiration date of June 30th, 2025. Each of the above mentioned entities have already made payments to the county for these services.
Move to approve the communication services
I'll second
agreements.
that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll call the question. Commissioner Boyce?
Aye.
Commissioner Kress?
Aye.
Chair votes aye and the motion passes. On a marathon run today, Sheriff Hanlon, number 14.
14, thank you. That's a communication service agreement between Douglas County and the city of Myrtle Creek for dispatch and radio services with a new term expiration date of June 30th, 2026.
Move to approve that communication service agreement.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second. Questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll call the question. Commissioner Boyce?
Aye.
Commissioner Kress?
Aye.
Chair votes aye and the motion passes. And agenda item number 15, Sheriff's Office.
Yeah, so this is an agreement amendment, the second amendment to an agreement between Douglas County and Axon Enterprise for officer safety equipment such as body cameras like I'm wearing here and tasers. The amendment incorporates quote number Q-663-205-75782 Charles Nora and is valid from July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2034. And again, this amendment is to help pay for the costs of memory storage in the cloud for all of our videos and images that are captured on our body cameras. It's for upgrading of devices. For example, this taser that I'm carrying is no longer supported, so they'll be replacing our tasers as needed. And it also covers some software updates that are required for use with both the taser and the camera.
Move to approve the agreement amendment.
I'll second.
We have a motion and second. So I'm gonna take this opportunity. There's often times where, you know, we're working with other entities or organizations that are wanting to contract with the sheriff's office to have deputy patrol or services. And when we give them a price, sometimes they're amazed about how much it costs. They see that number and they think the deputy gets all that money, but it's things like this and a whole bunch of other stuff that are expensive. The tools of law enforcement, the demands of the public for transparency and making sure that we're have the nice newest equipment that works well, and then you end up in court, you can demonstrate what happened. It's just a requirement, but it's expensive, and this is one of those contracts that is just one of many that we have to do to make sure you and your team are outfitted in a way that is the standard that the public expects. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll call the question. Commissioner Boyce?
Aye.
Commissioner Kress?
Aye.
Chair votes aye and the motion passes. Thank you, Shirley. Agenda item number 16 is a treasure item, and I'm gonna have our Chief Financial Officer come up and take care of this one, please.
Commissioners, Dan Wilson, Chief Financial Officer, on behalf of the Treasury Department. This is a readoption of the Douglas County Investment Policy. It's an annual requirement by Oregon statute, and there are no recommendations and will stay the same as it was from last year.
Move to adopt or re-adopt the investment policy.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. It's funny, the laws around how that investment can work and sort of the restrictions and how conservative you have to be, but I guess it's all for good reasons, and the policy reflects that.
Yes, correct.
So, motion and a second. Any further comments? Seeing none, I'll call the question. Commissioner Boyce?
Aye.
Commissioner Kress?
Aye.
Chair votes aye and the motion passes. Thank you, Dan. Agenda item number 17, Commissioner comments. Commissioner Boyce?
Nothing today.
Commissioner Kress?
Yeah, nothing either.
And I have nothing either. Thank you all for being here. Meeting adjourned.